let me ask then, how's your meditation been in the last week? How about Cheryl?
It's been good. It's been really good. I've been trying to put into practice some of the things that you talked about last time about deepening practice. So just sort of settling down more before I start, taking some deep breaths, reminding myself of intention, uh, beating up myself a little bit less when my mind wanders.
Good.
uh, and I haven't started a journal yet, but I actually have a journal. So it is my intention to start journaling this week.
Uh-huh. Very good. You feel like that's benefiting your practice?
I think anything that helps me settle down definitely would do
Okay.
that. We'll see how the journaling goes. I've used journaling for other purposes, and it's been really successful for me. So I don't see why it would be any different.
hmm Yeah, to me, it's part of what happens with meditation is you start to open up to things inside, and journaling, as you know, is a wonderful way to explore.
Yes.
How about you, Clive?
Yeah, well, I, I'm, I'm feeling that uh, doing meditation is helping me uh, get less angry. You know, when I deal with issues that normally put me into a bit of a rage, I'm able to be certainly a little bit calmer. You know, you never know because you don't know whether this, the incident that you're dealing with is as bad as the ones that sent you into a rage in previous times. But uh, there was some, like you get, we all have these things, problems that never seem to get resolved. And I've been able to kind of say, okay, if this is going to take time, it takes time. You don't worry about it, and so I think I'm getting a beneficial effect.
That's good. It sounds like it.
Yeah, and I think I should start journaling as well because it's you sometimes forget, and that's okay. But if you record that you forget, then you're going to make sure that you do it the next day and things like that.
hmm hmm That's good. I'm glad to hear that both of you are interested in the journaling part of the process. I think it really can be worthwhile.
Mhm.
Okay, so shall we then get on with some meditation then?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Okay, so we, as usual, will start with 10 minutes of mindfulness, paying attention on purpose in the present moment, non judgmentally. And so here we go. All right. Hey, I hear you. Let me try something else. Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yeah, it was.
Okay, let me make one other change and then continue. And I'll try to speak a little louder because I think this mic is not as well.
Yeah. Well, there was a
The
line
first,
across your. There was a
yeah,
line across the microphone as though you was muted.
I can just barely hear you. So let me try yet another. Okay, now it says I'm muted. You can hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Okay, let me try another adjustment. Would one of you speak?
That's better.
Hmm. Or who knows what the deal is? I'm gonna just proceed as long as you can hear me. That's what is we need. So anyway, the first thing I want to start with is something that came in my email this week, and it's from Quora, a thread on meditation. And there was a question, which form of meditation does not require any effort? And the answer was all forms. Effort of any kind is the opposite of meditation because it infers that you're trying to change something or get somewhere that you are not already. Meditation is simply being exactly where you are and being with the reality of that moment and the next moment and the next, instead of your mind's psychological assessment of where you are or where you want to be. As such, any effort to meditate takes you right out of meditation. That said, we tend to feel like separate egos and not already in a 24/7 state of meditativeness. That is, we are identified with our thoughts and our dream selves instead of just being here in reality. And we feel like we need to choose and learn a preferred form of meditation, then sit down and practice daily, which is fine. So check out as many forms of meditation as you can. There are scores and many teachers until you find the one that suits you, and then do what you guys are doing. Sit regularly and enjoy practicing. Just leave the concept and feeling of effort out of it. Do it because you love it, because you really enjoy watching your thoughts instead of being identified with them, because you love giving some time over to being each day, not to change something or attain some goal. Anyway, I thought that was a worthwhile little thread. And today, what I want to talk about is equanimity. And equanimity is evenness of mind. A calm mind and an even temper can help make peace with life's difficulties. Equanimity is really the foundation for mindfulness practice. The Buddha described a mind filled with equanimity as, quote, abundant, exalted, immeasurable, without hostility, and without ill will.
Mm.
When we see beyond judgment and self-interest and realize that we are choosing instead of reacting, those times when the pain of injustice is held in our hearts while the mind is still, steady, and clear, those times when we make small choices that show great care and influence social balance. This is the power of equanimity. One moment of equanimity causes a succeeding moment of equanimity to arise. Once equanimity is activated, it will be the cause for equanimity to continue and to deepen. It can bring you to deep levels of practice. One approach to developing equanimity is to cultivate the qualities of mind that support it. 7 mental qualities support the development of equanimity. The first is virtue or integrity. When we live and act with integrity, we feel confident about our actions and words, which results in the equanimity of blamelessness. The second support for equanimity is the sense of assurance that comes from faith. While any kind of faith can provide equanimity, faith grounded in wisdom is especially powerful. The Pali word for faith used by the Buddha is saddha, which is also translated as conviction or confidence. If we have confidence, for example, in our ability to engage in a spiritual practice, then we're more likely to meet its challenges with equanimity. The third support is a well-developed mind. Much as we might wish to develop physical strength, balance, and stability of the body in a gym, so too we can develop strength, balance, and stability of the mind. This is done through practices that cultivate calm, concentration, and mindfulness. When the mind is calm, we are less likely to be blown about by the worldly winds. The fourth support is a sense of well-being. We don't need to leave well-being to chance. In Buddhism, it's considered appropriate and helpful to cultivate and enhance our well-being. We often overlook the well-being that is easily available in daily life. Even taking time to enjoy one's tea or the sunset can be a training in well-being. The fifth support for equanimity is understanding or wisdom. Wisdom is an important factor in learning to have an accepting awareness, to be present for whatever is happening without the mind or heart contracting or resisting. Wisdom can teach us to separate people's actions from who they are. We can agree or disagree with their actions, but remain balanced in our relationship with them. We can also understand that our own thoughts and impulses are the result of impersonal conditions. By not taking them so personally, we are more likely to stay at ease with their arising. Another way wisdom supports equanimity is in understanding that people are responsible for their own decisions, which helps us find equanimity in the face of other people's suffering. We can wish the best for them, but we avoid being buffeted by a false sense of responsibility for their well-being. One of the most powerful ways to use wisdom to facilitate equanimity is to be mindful when equanimity is absence. Honest awareness of what makes us imbalanced helps us learn how to find balance. The sixth support is insight, a deep seeing into the nature of things as they are. One of the primary insights is the nature of impermanence. In the deepest form of this insight, we see that things change so quickly that we can't hold on to anything. And eventually, the mind lets go of clinging. Letting go brings equanimity. The greater the letting go, the deeper the equanimity. This is a quote from a Thai forest monk, Ajahn Chah, from his book, A Still Forest Pond. If you let go a little, you will have a little peace. If you let go a lot, you will have a lot of peace. If you let go completely, you will know complete peace and freedom. Your struggle with the world will have come to an end. The final support for equanimity is freedom, which comes as we begin to let go of our reactive tendencies. We can get a taste of what this means by noticing areas where we were once reactive but are no longer. For example, some issues that upset us when we were teenagers prompt no reaction at all now that we are adults. In Buddhist practice, we work to expand the range of life experiences in which we are free. The mindfulness practice of observing without judgment is also the practice of developing this equanimity. So now I have a short video by a man, Jeff Warren, who I think is actually one of the superior mindfulness teachers. And of course, it is on equanimity.
Equanimity really is the practice of freedom. It's not, you can't put too fine a point on how huge it is. It's the practice of beginning to notice that your whole life you've been in these states of reactivity to sound situations, sensations, concepts, kind of things. doing that, you're not really at ease. You're not really free to be just present in the moment. You're forced to kind of move according to this larger agenda. And after a while, the more you practice, the more you realize that actually you've got more room than you think, more space. So if something happens, you can choose to go along with it or not. And that's freedom. It just gets bigger and bigger. Beauty, sacredness of what's already here. And from that place of appreciating that, a lot more energy and clarity around how you do want to act when you do. Yeah, that's pretty much that's the thinking, and that's been my experience to a degree. Insofar as I'm always learning this, like we all are. You're always finding new subtle ways in which you're actually fighting with yourself in the world. Like, oh geez, thought I figured that out. Nope. It's like still learning.
So now we will have our final meditation, 15 minutes. And All right. So if we can uh, finish with our chant.
Mhm.
Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Om. Peace, peace, peace. Any questions or comments from today's session?
Everything was good.
Now, Clive, I think when you were talking about not responding as much to these angry thoughts, you were in
Yeah,
fact
yeah,
talking about the effects of increasing equanimity.
that's right. It was it fitted perfectly with my experience during the past week, and as an example, yeah, equanimity. I'm gonna look up the word and think about it, because I think that is what we're all looking for. Yeah.
I think so too. And
Yes.
now another way to think of equanimity is equal mindedness.
Mm.
I've heard it described as balance.
Uh-huh. I think
Yeah.
that's also good. That's why I used the picture I did for the first meditation.
Mm.
Okay, well, very good. And still, I really applaud the two of you today for sticking with it, even though I had technical problems. Uh,
Mhm.
you know, that you are willing to stick with it through those things, I think says a lot for your own kind of intention that is behind this practice. So good work.
Mhm.
Good work.
Mhm.
Thank you.
And we'll
Yeah.
see you next week.
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Mhm.